With me today is my colleague, Jack Brown. Jack, you've had a lifetime of experience as a marketing and advertising executive, both on the corporate side and on the agency side, and now as a consultant and coach. What are some of the main changes that you're seeing?
Well, one of the major changes we're seeing, and this is happening more recently, is companies have had to become more global in how they operate within their brands. And now I'm talking specifically in marketing. Is a recent trend has been identifying what's called a global chief marketing officer. Mm-hmm. And that is a new role that's being defined. Large companies are starting to gravitate that and identifying somebody that will be in charge of their global operations singly within the aspect of marketing.
In identifying that somebody for that role, what are the parameters that they're using?
One of the things they're finding is it is a very, very difficult role because you tend to bring a home market centricity, and people who have, or managers who have had some global training or understanding or have lived in other countries are much more adaptable in this area. So a premium to a certain extent is on people who have had experience in other countries.
Mm-hmm. So now in doing this, are they creating teams globally, or how's that working?
Well, it's going to depend on the operation or on the particular company. Many companies have been global, have got global, but they've tended to operate on a regional basis. This trend is trying to centralize that more. So the tasks beholding the global marketing officer are going to be not only getting to market quickly on a global basis, but organizing teams, organizing roles, and building global marketing capabilities with a single global brand strategy, but understanding that it needs to be adapted on a local market basis.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've seen that with other clients we've worked with. You have to be so careful these days because things can go viral so very, very quickly.
And that's particularly true with advertising. There's a sense of trying to take what works from a communications point of view in the home market and take and translate that globally. And that has forced some of the people we've talked to into very awkward situations where something that might be designed for a single market might not be culturally appropriate for another, and given viral marketing, even though it's intended for that market, can be on YouTube tomorrow, or can be viewed by a global population.
Well, what are some of the parameters or protocols then that a global chief marketing officer has to put into place in order for this not to be an issue?
The global marketing officer will set the trend in terms, or will set the strategy objectives, but there needs to be an oversight body or protocol set to be able to take a look and make sure that while the local markets have their ability to focus on those markets, that there is an overseeing body that picks up potential mistakes that can happen. And that has happened with some of the largest companies where they didn't realize that they were being culturally insensitive in other markets and have seen major blowback against their brand.
Ouch, and that's not what any global chief marketing officer wants.
That's exactly right.
How does a global chief marketing officer put together a team that is going to work together, cohese, and understand that they have to be considering both global and local issues in their marketing and advertising?
Well, it will start with bringing the groups together to begin with. The most important.
That's so important, isn't it?
Yeah, that's important. And although there is a trend towards being able to communicate on a virtual basis, initially getting and assigning the roles and responsibilities and a communication process in place, understanding the corporate objectives, gaining trust in this global marketing leader, which, by the way, is one of the biggest problems facing global leaders, establishing credibility with their team members. And then when that's done, the ability to quickly and on an ongoing basis communicate where there's a greater understanding and a flow of communication to achieve the objectives.
Well, of course, by bringing the teams together initially, you have a chance of establishing more trust in the first place. But what about when the conflicts arise? I mean, when you're dealing with people from all over the world with different values, different cultures, different communication styles, conflicts are bound to arise.
Conflicts are bound to arise, and they do. One of the most important things we're finding is the understanding of differences within cultures, and that what might be an expression in one culture versus another are not communicated properly and are misunderstood. A lot of being able to have a cultural awareness and ingrain that to begin with will eliminate a number of those kinds of mistakes.
Also, little things like language. You've written about simple mistakes in advertising. There's an article on our website on that. Last night I was at an event. One of the people brought up, dealing with Spanish. It's not the same from one place to the other, and it strikes me that with English, it's not the same from one place to the other as well. So you really have to have not only people who understand the local market, but understand the language, all the little nuances of communication.
The idioms and the colloquialisms and so on. Absolutely. You mentioned even within a common language, there are great differences in expressions within England and the United States, both of whom are presumably speaking the English language. And certainly even within the United States, there's a number of differences.
Yes, without a doubt. So, given that you have all these issues, what are some of the, with the technological advances happening, what are some of the things that that companies have to pay attention to?
Well, companies, from a marketing perspective, there is a dramatic shift in how the whole going to market process works, where it used to be push and going out and presenting the product. It is now getting more towards being a conversational medium and the ability to go and engage the consumer rather than selling them and involve them. That is doing a shift more towards digital types of approaches rather than the traditional approaches, although they're still important. But those digital approaches are going to both work for gaining quicker access to that consumer feedback, and at the same point in time, feedback from team members to management members in a way that can be done very quickly and be done in a digital format so that it's instantaneous.
Well, given all the changes that you've been talking about here, what are some of the basic things that a company has to pay attention to as far as their global marketing plan?
They have to pay attention to the execution of the programming in a number of areas. They have to set clear objectives for the teams and for the management. Are they trying to gain share? Are they trying to build revenue? Are they trying to answer bottom line? And be absolutely clear with those objectives. From there needs to be a download in terms of responsibilities more towards the local level than the senior level and filtering those through. But they need to be clear in those objectives and what it means to the company rather than having people trying to invent their own objectives and strategies.
Well, thanks a lot, Jack. I mean, you've written a great deal about this, and our viewers can go to our website, of course, at www.globalcoachingandconsulting.com and read more about what you have to say about global marketing and global teams. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this video, one in our ongoing series of informational programs for global executives and their teams. Please stay tuned and watch for more of our ongoing series.